This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Unknown submarine contact in the vital area. Away the Nixie team away. Away the Nixie team away. Set general quarters. Set general quarters. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station.
Okay, now it fits. Right, there we are. Okay. We're back. It's back. He, she, and it are back.
They.
Let's see. What is this? This is the Shat Show, the Sackheads Against Tyranny. So what I think is going to happen is that Clint and BZ are going to tear through the gristle of today's screaming headlines and rip out the sinewy tendons of truth ensconced within, all from the hoary streets of Shat Room, fornicalia, the trembling toadies, the sniveling jackanapes, and the fripperous fopdoodles infesting altogether too much of this great nation of ours. Please feel free to partake of our Shat Room at shrmedia.com, featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint and the unrestrained bobosity of the Zetmeister, doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double a host. Some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, Terra Cross dotted line, hell in Mexico, patent pending, warranty void in Montenegro. Tonight, Clint and BZ will talk about a veritable gaggle, no, a shrewdness, a murmuration, an obstinacy, a war and a pandemonium, a gaggle, a muster, a covey, a murder and unkindness, a maelstrom, a knot, a shiver, an intrusion, to smack, a hive, a prickle, yea, a veritable cauldron of topics. What did I miss? I missed one.
Did you a murder?
No, I got murder.
A kaleidoscope.
Oh, I figured. Okay, I missed kaleidoscope. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yonder across from me is the verifiable Sackheads Clint. You go to his Twitter page, and he's got that little star, that little blue star next to him that verifies that is who he is.
Yes.
And I'll be your server and your obese somnambulistic reprobate just for tonight only. Sorry, we do not take American Express or personal checks. Remember, this is only an exhibition, not a competition, so please, no wagering. Mm-hmm. And we're back. How you been?
I've been well. I've been busier than a one-legged monkey in an ass-kicking contest.
A monkey.
One-legged.
A one-legged
monkey in an ass-kicking contest.
In that kind of a contest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That kind.
So if...
Did we clean up the show and I didn't know about?
We did.
Oh.
Hey, somebody left the door open.
What? Where's Sean?
You left the... Sean, would you shut the door? You can't get him to do anything anymore, can you?
Nothing.
And he doesn't respond.
No.
We asked him.
And he didn't do it.
No. the simple thing. I mean, listen, who has to do the technology around here now? Me. Because Sean says he's at work.
Yeah.
Work.
Yep.
Okay.
And me, I fucking technology.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know. So I have to change the Stream Deck
Yeah.
over from the BZ show to the Shat show.
Right.
That's not easy.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Isn't it
I
just
have
a
to set
button?
up all this stuff. Yes. Oh, it's a drop-down menu and a whole bunch of
It's
other.
a what?
Yeah, and then you have to go to a whole bunch of different programs.
I don't even know what that is.
And it ain't easy. So all I do when that happens is I say, hey, can you do me a favor and set this stuff up, please, so that when I get here, because what does Sean do? Sean has all day lazing around.
Doing nothing.
In the studio. Here's another thing, folks, that you don't know. Yes, this is a studio. Yes, we are 2 miles east of the Bill Mill. We are literally 2 miles east of the locus of evil in the entire...
I think it's 1.9, actually. I think it's...
Did you clock it one day?
I believe it is 1.9.
Okay, I might have to change what I say.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's about that far east of the Capitol building at 10th and L Street. And it's really a studio. It's not your house. It's not my house.
Nope.
There's actually a sitting room right here. There's a massive TV over there. The door is right behind you.
There's a blue room.
There's a blue room with a green screen.
Yes.
And a purple fish tank. And then around the corner is the electric winkle chamber. And then that way
is PFM. That's where all the PFM is that makes this show run.
And so that's where he sleeps.
Because he works hard here.
He's here all damn day. I ask him to do one little thing for SHR. Please just set up the show. Would you set up the show? No. He doesn't have time to do that. You look like you're looking at something.
No, I'm looking down in disbelief.
Oh, I know.
And dejection.
Welcome to Mike. Welcome to Simone. Welcome to Kaiser. Welcome to 2 viewers.
Hello, viewers.
I can say this.
And welcome to countless many other people, whoever's listening on the playbacks.
Right, and podcast. There'll be a cast of thousands.
Be a cast of thousands.
We have
tens
not tens. Of that I have no doubt.
By the way, we've been gone for a little while, but the studio. I know we've had.
Just gonna say
we had issues. There were some issues with boards. There were some issues with internet. There were some issues with upgrades, which, by the way, looks fantastic.
Yeah, the folks can't see.
They can't see, but the equipment upgrades and so forth that have been in during our absence is fantastic. So I hope you notice a difference in sound and clarity and quality. But we are here tonight. We are here tomorrow night. We will be on hiatus for the holidays because we're not going to do a show on Christmas. I'm sorry, as much as those of you...
No, Christmas is Wednesday this year.
Christmas is Wednesday this year. And New Year's is Wednesday this year.
Well, yeah, that follows.
So we will be those 2 weeks. We will be on.
Look! It says 3 viewers.
Whoa!
Now we have 3 viewers.
Wow,
this is cool.
We are not
cool.
a live show. We're a live show.
We're a live show,
but our audience
until we're not.
Right. Our audience is really on the podcasts.
Oh, they're onto it.
That's on the podcast.
Here's why.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done. which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or WebBank. Terms apply. Subject to approval.
If I could submit to you why.
Please, submit away.
We haven't been here. Do you know when? I know.
October.
October.
For those of you that are here.
That's October.
From other countries.
November. We haven't been here.
We were here in October.
For 2.5 months.
No, we were here in October.
Yes, but for the bulk of October.
So all of November we missed.
We were here. We were gone for 2 months.
2 months? I thought it was 6 weeks.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
right
like
now?
Andy Robinson said in the 1971 film Dirty Harry, as Scorpio, he said, no.
Well, listen, folks, then I want to welcome you. We haven't announced it. We've been holding off, but now it seems as the appropriate time.
If you have the announcement,
I do.
Make the announcement.
Folks, welcome to the very first episode of Sack Heads Against Tyranny, the reboot.
Ooh, I'll have to come up with a cool logo for that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebooted.
I do like that. I will have to come up for a logo with that. I can't do it right here because...
Hey, look, you're a tech guy. You're quick.
I know.
Yeah.
Can I do the reveal tonight?
Absolutely. Well, tonight? You want to do it tonight or you want to do it tomorrow before the holiday break?
I'll lead...
Christmas break, sorry. Christmas and New Year's.
I'll lead into the reveal.
Okay.
With this.
Okay.
There. I'm looking at the wrong camera.
Yeah, why are you looking at my camera? My camera's right there.
Okay. Thank you again, Clint.
My pleasure.
For my poison. You got me a 75 liter of Diet Pepsi.
Mm-hmm. A liter of cola.
I greatly appreciate that. So thank you. Now I forgot the reveal. Ooh, look at the people in chat. Kaiser, Dave Milner. Dave Milner is in chat. And still 2 viewers. That's good.
Simone, hola.
That's good to see. Now you made me forget what the reveal was going to be. So apparently it wasn't very revelatory. But I will come up with a good logo for the reboot. I just have to remember because my memory escapes me these days and every other damn day.
Is it part deux?
Part deux.
Or is it rebooted?
I know.
I think rebooted works.
I know 4 words in French.
All right, go.
I can count in French.
Mer?
No, merde.
Okay.
That's... Okay, I know 5. I
thought Mère Tête was like shithead.
I don't know what Tet is. It was the offensive in the 1970s in Vietnam.
Yes, it was in Vietnam.
I know that Tet. Okay.
Different Tet.
I see that Tet. Okay, I know merde, which is poop. I know un, deux, trois. Un, deux, trois.
That's 1, 2, 3.
I thought I know 4.
You don't.
Okay, so let me go back. I'm going back to 4. I thought I knew 5 words.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do know 5 words. I do know 5 words.
What do you know?
The 5th is we.
We. That's yes.
Yes.
And no.
What is no?
No.
No?
I think so.
Or do you say ni?
Ni.
Ni. We are the knights who say ni.
We.
Meaning
yes.
Are
the
we,
knights.
Yes, are the knights
that
who
say no.
No. Ni. We
I don't
say
know what you're saying
ni.
right now.
We are the knights who say ni.
I don't even know what that means. I thought of you during our hiatus. As a matter of fact, I can tell you the date I thought of you.
The date?
Yep. October 28th.
Oh, okay.
And here's why. You and I are both, for those who have been listening for a while, and we'll get into some news here in a little bit. This kind of has actually...
Or maybe we won't.
Or maybe we won't. We will. But
that was the revelation.
That was the revelation. We're not doing any news anymore.
I'd remember now.
What is it?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. So I can forget it again.
Perfect. So you and I are both aerospace enthusiasts.
Are we ever?
And one of the things we enjoy talking about, even in our off time and so forth, is aerospace, whether it's B-17s, older aircraft, new, whatever it is. So on October 28th, I read a story that the United States Air Force, the X-37B, the space plane, that kind of looks like the shuttle. It's the reusable,
kind
unmanned.
of
can I say unmanned anymore. We're in California. Unpersoned? Uncrewed?
No, it's not undomiciled because it does have a place to land.
It does.
So it's not homeless.
Uncrewed.
Well, unless it uses colorful language. In which case we can't say that.
So the X-37 plane returned to Earth after completing more than 2 years on a mission in space. Did you even know the X-37B was up there?
What was it doing all that time?
I don't know. It's called the X-37B Orbital Test Vehicle, and this was mission number 5, and it landed on Kennedy Space Center at the shuttle landing facility during that time. The story came out on the 28th. It was a 780-day mission. That far exceeded the plane's previous record of 718 days, and it was on an unknown mission up in space. I think it returned, according to Space.com. Mission 4 returned May 2017. So this actually launched September 7th, 2017. It's solar powered, and when it landed, again, nobody knows what the heck it's doing up there for 2 years. I saw the story and I was like, oh my, that's a story I need to talk to BZ about. The newsworthy part is, what is the Air Force secretive unmanned spacecraft doing for 2 years in orbit, or was it in orbit, or did it go between Earth and the moon? Did it go to Mars and come back?
See that? Doesn't that make you wonder? See, I've got
it makes me wonder, and so I've been itching. I've been saving this since October 28th, BZ, because it's one of those stories that I didn't want to give you time to sit on and percolate and look. I wanted to kind of just get your initial reaction, and I love the canine puzzlement look that you're giving me right now.
Okay, wait. If I'm going to do the honest CPL,
yeah, but you did. It was a little
for
bit
a second there. For a second there. But there needs to be a more of a cant to the head. Like okay, I'm looking in the camera. It would be more like that.
Like a
yeah. Because you've seen dogs do that.
Yes.
Your dog. If you have a dog, your dog does that. Hey, Audrey Ortega, welcome to. She outed herself. Audrey Ortega in the chat room. So welcome.
Welcome. So
if you were, if you were masked, you've unmasked yourself. But I want to tell everybody here in the chat room that we don't unmask you here.
No.
You only do it yourself.
Yes.
We would have been perfectly comfortable if you decided that you wanted from now in perpetuity, you just wanted to be one viewer.
Yes.
We're happy with that. We're good with that. We're fine with that. Here's what I was going to tell you. Here's the revelation.
Go.
And then I'm going to ask you about a Clint story.
Well, okay, but then I want to know what your thoughts on this X-37.
But if I don't get to this, I'm going to forget it.
Okay, go.
Okay, all right. Here's the revelation. Clint and I have planned absolutely nothing for tonight. Am I right? Did we talk about anything that was going to happen on this show tonight?
Nope.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Did we correspond? We customarily send tweets back and forth.
We do.
And we would have said, we would have looked and we would have agreed and said, hey, Simone, thank you for welcoming. Everybody make Audrey welcome here in chat. Tell her thank you very much for being here in chat. And she's always welcome here. We like new people to chat. So welcome to Mike, Dave, Simone, Audrey Kaiser, and one viewer. One viewer if you want to stay masked, Coolerebus. Anyway, we didn't prepare one bit for this show. So I want to tell you that anything that comes out after that is simply the miraculosity of the bulbosity that is inherent within Clint and BZ.
So
whatever we pull out for the rest of the night
of our posterior,
it's off the cuff.
Folks, if you don't know this, so many of you have been with us for a while, and we do send, even when we send stories back and forth and we have some correspondence, we never have a programmed show laid out. We don't ever say, okay, in this hour, in this segment, we're going to discuss this topic. In this segment, we're going to talk about this.
Now, we did.
We used to, but you know what? But
You used to be the arbiter of the board. You were in control of the board.
I was.
And we'd break up the segments. Okay, Sean, you got this. Sean, you cool with that? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, BZ, fat guy, you're going to do this. Are you cool with being fat and doing this? Yes. And I would customarily say yes. And then Clint would say,
I've got these.
This, and this.
And
we're going to do them in this order.
Yep.
And it was fairly regimented.
It was. But that ended with Sackheads.
It did.
When the Sackheads radio show ended officially, and the Sackheads Against Tyranny came on board. So that was a flow that worked very well when Sean was in the mix. You and I work better, and this is because we started with a board kind of, I think, for the first couple shows, and we always went other places. And so our show is very much a freestyle radio type of show. And that's just how we've operated. Even when we send stories back and forth, we've sent so many stories over the course of a week or so before preparing this show and discussing and so forth that we can't possibly, in a 2-hour time frame, get to all of the stories.
Oh, there's so much. It's like my show. I don't address a fraction.
You can't. So we don't set the show up like that.
No.
We kind of come in and we have an idea because we've sent each other stuff, and that's just kind of how we do it. Why is Taps playing right now?
That's for the regimented way that the Sackhead show was.
I thought that was for Sackheads Against Tyranny because now we're rebooted. Now we're rebooted.
We're rebooted. I'm simply paying tribute
to the Sackheads
very regimented way of doing Sackheads.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Sackheads. Bye-bye.
Now, when BZ says us, this doesn't mean that we haven't been keeping up on the current events.
No, we have.
This doesn't mean
That's
that
what
we
do.
don't have juicy, tender morsels
yes.
to sink our teeth into tonight and to really get at just the meat and the heart of what's happening right now.
Yes. Clench
because we do.
Clench your teeth like this.
We're gonna have. Like that?
Okay, yeah, exactly like that. So it's like the scene. What was the movie? Where the guy goes, "Give me your war face." So Clint, give me your war face.
I can't give you my war. I have to be. So here's the thing. I have to be legitimately like in the moment to give my war face. Okay. I can't spontaneously give a war face. My war face is real. So I can't give
I know.
I can't give
it can't. You can't produce it when there is nothing to be warlike about. we don't war here in
not
the
in
SHR
the
studio.
No. I mean, we're at ideological war.
Oh my God, yes.
But we don't war in the studio.
No.
But when I do war, it's for real, and we can't. Yeah, I just.
But see, the problem is with the big beard. If I give you my war face and I bare my teeth.
Yeah,
you can't see it.
Yeah, but we'll see like the stuff coming. Like if you do a great war face and you grit your teeth and you get the saliva coming down your beard.
That's
right?
when I need a drool cup.
Yes.
Yep.
No. Just let it get in your beard.
No.
In your beard.
Ooh.
Arr. Arr. Like
why are pirate jokes so bad?
Because they are. like a big gay Nord pirate. And by gay I mean happy. I don't mean that.
No, really?
Yeah, I mean happy. Right.
Pleasant.
By the way,
ebullient.
Which is the actual definition of the term, and that's how the word. That's how I meant it. By the way, so you know how they're trying to kill Baby It's Cold Outside, right?
Oh God,
why are they not trying to kill any of the other Christmas songs like Dawn
Christmas?
Oh, Dawn Our Gay Apparel. Like, are they dressing up flamboyantly?
Well, and
Like, what is
and
that?
Why are they saying that there is something specific that gays should wear?
Right.
Now, what kind of apparel? Okay, let's be honest. What kind of apparel, racists, sexists, do you think gays should wear?
Right. So why is this show, or why is that song saying "Dawn We Now Are Gay Apparel"?
Yeah. Okay.
Or
like,
let the
what
Yuletide,
kind of apparel are you talking about?
Or let the Yuletide be gay?
What is that? Like, do you mean what tide?
Like what are you talking about?
You're talking about what bay? The Bay of Fundy?
Right.
You don't.
No, gay.
Faye.
Gay.
Gay?
Yeah. Faye? What?
Faye Ray.
I don't know.
She was held in the palm of the big ape. Faye Ray was the first female to be held in the palm of Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. King Kong.
No, Hong Kong. That's where he came from. All the hair that was put on him came from Hong Kong. That's why they named him
King Kong.
Hong Kong. King Hong Kong.
His name was King Hong
In the
Kong?
movie, in the first trailers, the first posters of the movie, it said Faye Ray, the ape.
Okay.
And the ape was King Hong Kong.
Which came into King
Those
Kong.
were the first posters that came out. And then in the second printing of the posters, Hong was removed because it was deemed clumsy.
And racist.
And racist.
Racist.
Because
racist.
people were aware back then.
Okay, let's get to it.
Okay.
Look, so
All right. I'm ready to get to it.
Impeachment. There's a lot. We have impeachment. We've got the IG report coming out. We've got all the crap that went on in the House.
Coming out. I've got sections of it right here.
So one positive story before we get to our first break. A positive story. Then we're going to hit it hard. Let's go hit it hard. Positive story.
What?
Donald Trump.
That was good. I like that.
Did you like that one?
Yeah, I did.
Donald Trump
has
now officially gotten 50 of his justices
judge
confirmed.
Right.
50.
That's
10 of which.
That's a lot.
By the way, 10 of which have been on, including these two that were just this week. 10 of which have been on the 9th Circuit. That means that
what?
10 on the 9th Circuit.
10?
That means that 14 justices on the 9th Circuit out of the 30 have been appointed by Republicans.
Ooh.
Folks, if you don't think that is a huge deal,
and will really come into play down the line.
Before this election, there were people that were anti-Trump, even Republicans. They were anti-Trump, and you and I had this conversation, BZ, and I said the judicial branch is the reason to vote for Donald Trump. The Supreme Court in particular.
Oh boy!
But the judicial Trump, and you were on that. On that train.
I said
for that reason as well.
I said it then, and I'll say it now. Is I voted for Trump for two very important salient reasons, and at the time it was just these. Number one, he wasn't Hillary Clinton. Check. Mm-hmm. Number two, he was going to. I felt very calm and very centered and very sure that if a SCOTUS appointment were to come, he would make a good one. So I went, SCOTUS, okay, check. Everything else beyond that, as far as I was concerned with Trump, is gravy.
Yeah. And so, folks,
he's delivered a lot of gravy.
He has delivered a lot. We all know the economy and all that other stuff, and I'm not trying to dismiss that.
No, but
the judiciary is huge. The judiciary,
because that affects
is absolutely
so
huge.
Much stuff
everything, particularly
down the road.
Particularly in the 9th Circuit. Now, what does this mean? This means that the 9th Circuit is going to have to give up one of its most coveted titles.
Yeah,
of being the most overturned court
district
in the United States of America ever. So hopefully, or maybe they'll be losing that particular title, but that's huge. So 10 on the 9th, 14 out of the 30 Republican nominees.
That's worth a war face.
That's huge.
It is.
And so not to mention the fact that now the African American community.
Oh, I've got a story about that.
Coming out with Trump. So maybe I'll put a pin in that then. And if we have time, we'll get to that and what
I got a ton of stuff lined up.
What the founder of
we'll
BET
chat about
is
what
saying
we're going to do.
Forth, but
I do have an idea for a story after the break, but I'll tell you like during the break.
So we do want to get into impeachment tonight.
Oh, yeah,
and the IG a little bit if we can.
If you do want to get into impeachment, by the way,
I got two more things.
Oh, okay.
I got two more
then
things.
I have. If you want to go there, and I think you do, you've said you do.
Yeah.
I've got great audio cuts for that.
Yes.
Oh, boy, do I have some good ones. I've got some great audio cuts.
I've got two things. Thing
Okay.
number one.
Okay.
Have you seen the new Midway movie yet?
Yes.
Fantastic. Folks,
One of the better. I was... because the first thing that I did is I thought I was going to compare it to either Tora, 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 which was about the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
or the original Midway.
Or I was going to compare it to the original Midway, when all the scenes of flight, those were actual planes. And so I thought, those planes are not available anymore. And I went into that movie thinking it's going to be a turd. But, Clint, was it?
Look, it was not. I went into this movie not knowing what to expect because I knew Woody Harrelson was playing Chester Nimitz.
Yep.
And I wasn't sure where it was going. To be honest, the biggest thing I was concerned about, I expected there to be some Hollywood slant to it. I did, and no, that's not a racist comment. Oh my God, those on the left are going to say, "Oh, said slant and talking about Midway. He must have meant the Japanese," and that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But I went in believing there was going to be some of that, and worried that the CGI was going to look like it was garbage. Like in another movie.
Yeah, that they wouldn't do it justice of any sort.
So folks, this movie was made, and I'm watching the credits, and I don't want to ruin it. I was not really going to ruin it. You know the story.
Yeah, because it's been
but
out for...
I was watching...
I knew who won.
I was watching the credits in the beginning of the movie, and a lot of Japanese companies and a lot of Japanese film companies are affiliated with this. Were they China?
Oh, yeah. The Chinese and China are big into Hollywood these days.
So I thought some of them were Japanese companies. I can check into that, so I may be wrong. You sure there's not both? I thought at least a couple were Japanese.
Maybe, but the bulk are Chinese.
So big, and it's a Lionsgate, I think, and so anyways,
yeah, it might be.
I was seeing this and I was like, okay, but I think the movie told the story right down the middle, it was from the Japanese perspective. They gave the Japanese perspective exactly what the Japanese thought. They gave the American perspective exactly as the Americans thought. I mean, I'm talking including the use of the word Jap, which may not sound like a big deal, but today in Hollywood,
2019,
using the word Jap in a movie, look, that's how they talked. Bull Halsey in the movie, that's how he talked. Chester Nimitz, that's how he talked. The bravery that some of the men, or that the men in that battle went through, the home front and so forth, was a little bit of that storyline. Even on the Japanese side, the Japanese officers that felt that the Americans deserved no respect, and the ones that did show the Americans respect, that was played straight up. And even in the end of the movie, in the credits, they dedicated the movie to the brave men and women of the United States Navy and the Imperial Japanese Navy as well. And when I first saw that pop up on screen, I kind of cocked my head to the side. I gave the canine puzzlement route. But as I thought about it, I said, you know what? This was a battle by two nations, both of which lost soldiers who were engaged in battle for their country. And they gave a fair, accurate, very well-told story and portrayal of the battle that turned the tide of the war in the Pacific for the United States of America. And they portrayed it as a great American victory, that it was great strategy. They called Pearl Harbor exactly what it was. They didn't throw America under the bus. They didn't throw Japan under the bus, per se. It was a well-told story. It was a well-acted movie, and the effects I thought were fantastic. And as an American, I recommend that every American that's interested in history, I think every American should go see it anyways, but really go and take note, because there were no characters based on. The actors played the actual people who were engaged in this battle, both those that lived and those that died.
People need to realize, well, okay, tell you what, I'm going to comment it later because we're past due for a break. So tell
it's
you what.
It's our show, BZ.
I know.
We can do whatever the hell we want.
Well, I know, but
Sean's not here.
A semblance.
Sean's not here to beat us with the phone book.
That sure as shit is true.
He can't
Since
beat us.
He didn't set up anything over here.
He can't beat
didn't
us.
set up anything over there. I had to reboot the damn computer.
He can't beat us
Good
with a phone book.
God.
Look, forget our break. Go. Run with it.
Then, in lieu of a break, I could do...
We'll go for it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
I didn't hear our music.
Okay, how about that? That was a break.
That was a break.
Okay, there was our break. Winner, chicken dinner.
All right.
That was it.
So what were you going to say?
God dang it, now I forgot what I was going to say. No, what I was going to say is, this was a massively pivotal battle in the Pacific Theater because everyone, wrong. Some people these days have heard of island hopping. We ended up island hopping to Japan, Iwo Jima, Midway, Okinawa, all sorts of islands to get to Japan eventually. Had we lost Midway, Japan would have island hopped to our ass, and that was their plan.
Yep.
To island hop from Midway, keep Midway, and go through the chains, go to Hawaii, take over Hawaii, and then from there, hit California. So right now...
And then up the Aleutians.
And then correct all up the West Coast to the Aleutian chain. And here's another thing people don't realize. Was American soil ever attacked? Well, I can't say specifically American soil at that time, but was...
Yes, it was American soil at that time.
It wasn't officially a state.
Yes, it was.
1948, I think, is when Alaska came in.
Oregon was attacked. It was shelled by a Japanese sub, and there's a fort up there just north of Seaside, Oregon, that returned fire, but that American fort was shelled.
I was thinking of Alaska.
By a Japanese submarine.
Because on Alaska.
In World War II. And there were also the fire balloons that were sent from Japan that landed in...
Yeah, lame. Pretty lame. But amusing.
It was a cute idea.
It was interesting.
It was cute. But yes, American soil
was... It's like
wasn't...
trying to poison Castro's beard.
But yes, American soil was
set
attacked.
It on fire or something.
Was attacked. The West Coast of the United States was attacked in World War II.
I'm very sensitive about setting beards on fire. This is not the time of year to think about setting beards on fire. So, folks, you know somebody with a beard, don't set it on fire.
For once.
Ever. So, Dave in chat says, I'd like to see a movie about the Battle of Coral Sea. That would be fun. But here's what it's almost too late to do this. I'd love to see, what is Tom Hanks movie thing? Oh, Playtone. Playtone did The Pacific and also did Boys.
Band of Brothers?
Band of Brothers.
And they're supposed to be coming out with The Mighty Eighth.
I'd love to see them do The Mighty Eighth.
They're supposed to be filming. I think they're filming.
And I'd like to see them do an homage to the U.S. Navy as well. Then they will have all four covered before Tom Hanks gets too old or people just don't have any interest in that stuff anymore. Because I got to say, he and I, we are big students of history. We are bigly into history.
Yes. So, fantastic movie. I actually have a dollar, a United States dollar. I think I've shown you. And it has a brown mint stamp on it. And on the back it says Hawaii in black lettering.
Really?
Black outline lettering, yes. And that currency was issued in United States territories that could have possibly fallen into Japanese hands. And that currency was used in the Hawaiian Islands. And if Japan had taken Hawaii, that currency would be worthless on the world market, which is why the United States issued that currency to those territories.
I'd like to say this, though. You have a connection to Hawaii, do you not?
Yeah. My family's from Hawaii. My grandfather was a Pearl Harbor survivor. My grandmother worked at Bellows Field, as well his wife. So Bellows, and he was at Hickam when it was attacked. My mom's parents were walking into church, and they could describe the Japanese aircraft coming low right over towards the harbor. And my grandmother talked about one of the Japanese pilots looking right. She said she felt like he looked like right at her, like making that contact with his. She described his little goggles on, and she could describe that plane in detail. It stuck out in her mind.
Did you ever get to talk to folks on your family from that side who were there that day and have an in-depth conversation with them about what that was like?
So my grandfather, who was at Hickam that morning, he would talk about it. He never talked about Guadalcanal, so he fought the Pacific Theater.
Oh, Jesus!
He never talked about Guadalcanal.
I can imagine why.
But he did talk about Pearl Harbor. So he fought Pacific, and then his brother, my great uncle, flew in B-17s, and he was over in the European theater. He flew out of Kimbolton Airfield.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he talked about what it was like that morning, right as Reveille was starting, and the guys were starting to get up and around and stuff. And then just all of a sudden, hearing like this thunderous like, ba-boom, 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 and he's like, trying to figure out what the hell it was. And he got his men. He was an officer. He got his men up and heading into action. And he was talking about him, and he'd talk about the smells. He'd talk about the sounds, and it just being complete chaos as everybody tried to figure out exactly what the hell it is they were doing. He was so angry that the airplanes were actually the way they were parked on the airfield. Because, like I said, he was at Hickam. He was
wasn't there
furious.
A particular general or someone in charge
there was
who ordered
yes.
those planes to be placed in that fashion
yes.
so that they were easier to guard from Japanese incursions on
yes.
foot?
Yes. So he said that they were worried about saboteurs, and so the planes were kept unloaded, unfueled, parked wingtip to wingtip.
Yeah, right next to each other.
So that they could be easily guarded, and if they were set on fire, there wouldn't be a bunch of ammo and fuel to ignite and spread and cause more damage. So you had a bunch of unarmed, unfueled aircraft sitting so close together. That was just, forget bombing. It's a strafing attack right down the runway was enough to take those out. And it wasn't just, people say Pearl Harbor. It wasn't just Pearl Harbor that was attacked. Pearl Harbor encompasses Pearl Harbor. You have Ford Island, which is right where Battleship Row was. You have the Hickam Field. You have Wheeler Field, which is all right there and all under attack that day. On the other side of the island, you have the Schofield Barracks. You have Eva Marine Corps Base. You have Bellows Field. You have the Army Depot. You have all of these military installations that were on Oahu, and all of them were attacked that morning in the first and or second waves. So it wasn't just Pearl Harbor and Hickam that were attacked. You had Wheeler, you had all these other bases that were also attacked that day, including Bellows Field. Bellows is one of the most unreported bases of that attack. You had a flight of B-17s flying right into the middle of this battle.
Yes, that had no idea what was
idea that was going on.
They thought those planes were ours.
They
until
did.
They got close.
As a matter of fact, there was a radar station.
Yes.
That detected the Japanese aircraft coming in, and a lieutenant, when it was called into him, said, forget about it, because he thought it was the flight of B-17s flying in from California. So one of the B-17s bellied in on Bellows Field. As a matter of fact, I was out there several years ago. The scrapes are still there on the runway where this B-17 bellied in. And
history.
Another great part of history, the first prisoner of war was taken at Bellows Field on the beach. One of the Japanese midget submarines washed up on the beach there.
And
2-person crew, one was dead. The other one came out of the surf, was taken prisoner of war. So the first prisoner of war was taken at Bellows Field.
And the first shots fired in World War II
by the Americans were the USS Ward.
The USS Ward.
Yep.
Get out of my head.
Sunk a Japanese sub.
Yep.
In the interior defense zone, and they could never verify the kill until what was it? 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They finally found the sub, and it had a hole through the conning tower.
Yes.
Before that, the commander of the ward, the commander of the ward said he fired on it. Said he fired and hit an enemy submarine. Never verified. They never found the submarine. They were never able to verify it. A few people said, "I know it hit the conning tower," and they found it. I'd have to search it on the internet to figure out what year they found it. But they found the submarine, and damn if it did not have a hole in the conning tower. And I think the commander was dead by the time the discovery was made, so he never knew that the discovery was made. Fantastic work on the part of the men on the USS Ward. So the Pearl Harbor, just a phenomenal story, and this Midway movie actually goes into not great detail, but it actually does go into the story of Pearl Harbor as well, and then on to the bombing of Tokyo by Doolittle and on to Midway.
Here's a video. Let me see if I can get a video that talks about the actual find
of the
midget
Japanese
sub.
submarines.
Yeah.
So the one taken on Bellows. Now here's something about the
NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer, broadcasting live some 5 miles off of Pearl Harbor's entrance.
This is 2016.
We are diving on a World War II Japanese Kohyoteki or Type A midget or mini submarine, sunk by the United States destroyer Ward on the morning of December 7th, 1941, 75 years ago. The shots fired to sink this sub were the first fired by the United States in the Pacific War.
You can't see it, but that hole was shown in this video.
Was commanded by Akira Hiru with his petty officer Yoshio Katayama. Today we are friends and allies, and together we join in understanding our history and our heritage.
That was from the Okeanos Explorer, December 7th, 2016. That's when that video was taken. Absolutely astounding. History is amazing. I've told this story before. He went to more than one, I think. The only one that I can remember that he said was, I think he said Thorpe Abbotts was one of the fields that he was from. Dad flew a B-17 for the 8th Air Force in World War II.
It was found in 2002. I'm sorry.
2002? Okay.
So from December 7th, 1941 until August of 2002, nobody knew that the Ward sunk that.
It's still way cool.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
That's weird. Dad made, at the time, they had to do an assload of missions at the very beginning.
Yeah, thank you, Kaiser. Eva was also attacked that day, but yeah, Kaneohe. I think there were a couple other ones that were there as well. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to address that.
That's okay. That's
chat.
Two sorries to interrupt.
I know.
And I'm waiting for the triumvirate. It'll occur.
It'll probably occur.
Anyway, Dad's family, my grandma on his side had 3 kids, all boys. My family was 3 kids, all boys. I've got 2 brothers. Dad went into the Air Force, the U.S. Army Air Corps. His brother Bill went into the U.S. Navy. Brother Jim went into the U.S. Army. Each brother chose a different branch of service, which is really unique. I thought that was really weird. And Dad, God, I don't know if I still have this letter. I made a show out of it one time. My grandfather, Verto, wrote a letter to Dad in World War II right after he left to go and learn how to fly. I don't even remember the places where he went. I got tons of pictures, and he was pumping his kid up. It was a great letter. I should bring it in sometime. We're not here next week. No, wait.
We're here next week.
This is the 11th. Christmas isn't next week. It's week after, right?
Correct. We're here next week.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll go to see if I can find that letter, and read it next Wednesday on air. It's a beautiful letter. It's an incredible, incredible letter. Should we do? I forgot to do this. I should have. Do you have any Clint stories? Yeah, I mean, in this amount of time,
I don't. And I'll tell you what. I'm already in like education mode. I'm already in show mode.
All right.
So I'll have to have one for you next week.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. No, I get it.
Interrupt.
I get it.
Kaiser, we're good, brother. All good, man. I didn't think you were being that word. Good.
A dick?
Yeah.
Did he say a dick?
He did.
Did he say?
Yeah.
Did he say?
I think he thought I took umbrage with him saying Kaneohe.
Did he say
airbase?
Clint is a bag of dicks. Did he say that?
No.
Okay.
No. He's
I did,
actually being very sweet.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. No, we're good.
Good for Kaiser's fine. Kaiser is fine.
We're good. I love all of our folks.
I do too. With all my heart.
Yeah.
And soul. Both.
Trump.
Can I make kind of an analogy here?
Sure.
We did something really stupid in World War II on Pearl Harbor, but we learned from that. I want to see if I can make a relativistic comparison. How much did we learn, and have we learned, after Pensacola? The Pensacola attack by the Saudi Arabia pilot who purchased a firearm lawfully here in the United States. Number one, only citizens should be able to buy guns. That if there's one law that I would go for immediately, it's illegals shouldn't be able to buy guns. You should only be able to buy a gun if you're a citizen of the United States. So some Saudi pilot being able to go into a Florida gun store, he purchased his gun legally here in the United States and then walked into Pensacola and shot up a bunch of people. Where's the sanity in that? I did not know until that the only people to come in and save sailors and enlisted people, members of the U.S. Navy, were the Ecambria Sheriff's Department, civilians from the outside. Mm-hmm. Excuse me while I say something similar to, what the fuck is up with that? Whatever happened to SPs or the Navy personnel that used to guard Navy bases? A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Richard Marcinko, who created SEAL Team 6, created another thing that got him into big trouble called Red Cell. Red Cell was essentially the SEAL equivalent of their job was to create incursions into Navy bases, figure out how to get in there and take over certain areas.
And Mark Marchenko, I think, was...
Dick Marchenko was, like I said, the creator. He wasn't the creator of the SEAL teams, but he was the creator of SEAL Team, right? Of Red Cell and SEAL Team 6, which was the more specialized SEAL team. He's long retired. Anyway, he embarrassed the hell out of the U.S. Navy, got his guys to go in, scruffy with beards, etc., and the Navy hated him for that. He got into big trouble. They went after him for acquisitions of property for the SEAL teams, and he actually did federal time because he used federal money that that was approved for him to use to acquire equipment for the various SEAL teams in Red Cell. So he did some federal time because he embarrassed essentially the crap out of the Navy people who hired him and allowed him to create Red Cell to go in and find out where can we easily, what's our weak area at Navy bases. He embarrassed the crap out of them. Then we have Pensacola, where people can go in. Who's guarding our guardians?
Yeah, why aren't they armed on base? I'm okay with members of the military being armed on base. Am I okay with military personnel being armed off base? Now, that's a catchy subject for me. If they live off base, I'm okay with it. If they're active duty and they are off base, I'm not. Just because the Second Amendment is there for the citizens to be protected against the government. And as much as I love our men and women in uniform, and I do 100%, but the purpose of the Second Amendment is so that the citizens don't have an oppressive military, and our founders did not trust our military to be armed among the citizenry. That was not their purpose. We weren't supposed to have that standing army, which is why the military cannot engage in law enforcement, or not supposed to engage in law enforcement practices on the citizens, take action against U.S. citizens, those sorts of things. So, should they be armed on their own base for their own protection? Fuck yeah. Give them a 1 mile radius around there. If they live off base, absolutely. They're in a civilian capacity, even though I know they're always active duty. But they're in a capacity of going home to and from work, have that firearm for absolutely. But active duty in uniform, carrying a firearm around the general population, I don't think that's a good image, and that's not what our founders envisioned for us. That's probably controversial and going to make some people pissed off. But that's all right. So in this whole gun control issue, and I know it's kind of coming up and you're kind of dancing around the issue a little bit, Virginia flipped blue since we've been on our break. Virginia flipped blue for the first time in, I don't even know how long. Dems control the legislature.
Yeah, that's not the only thing that happened.
Dems control the legislature. Dems control the governorship. The governor has come out and said that now that the legislature is Democrat, they're going to start passing a shit ton of gun control bills. There's a sheriff in Culpeper County, Scott Jenkins, is his name, who came out and said, okay, you start doing that shit, and I'm going to deputize every citizen of my county so that they can lawfully carry a gun. Just a huge middle finger. First of all, I love that sheriff. The fact that a sheriff, who's an elected official, by the way, if you're going to be a chief of police, a head of a law enforcement agency, you want to be a sheriff, because a sheriff doesn't answer to a citizen board. They don't answer to the legislature. Yep. You're not appointed by a city council member or a governor or any of that stuff. You are elected by the people, so that when the government does stupid shit like what Virginia looks like they're about to do, you as an elected official serving your citizens can give them the big middle finger and just deputize your whole freaking county. Those that lawfully can be deputized. So not felons or those sorts of things.
I was looking for this. Now I found it. There's a quote I wanted to bring in. This is from, luckily, the news kept this guy anonymous, because otherwise he'd be skewered. On, where did I hear this? Laura Ingram's show. There was a quote from an anonymous senior U.S. Army officer this week, and he was reacting to the Pensacola shootings. And this is a quote. It's a direct quote. "We trust 18-year-old privates in combat with grenades, anti-tank missiles, rifles, and machine guns, but we let service members get slaughtered because we don't trust anyone to be armed back here in the United States. Why are we cowering in our offices? It's insane."
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Yep, it is.
It was declared a gun-free zone. Gun-free zones are insane.
It couldn't have been a real gun-free zone, though, BZ, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to have a gun in that zone.
Oh, I know. That's right. You make an excellent point, because
they probably just didn't write the law properly.
Yeah, criminals obey every law until they don't, but they obey every law. Yeah. Well, you're talking about federal judges. Here's another one. I'm just going through timelines and whatnot. This is from lifenews.com. Senate confirms pro-life Trump nominee Sarah Pitlick as federal judge. Pro-life leaders celebrated Wednesday, today, when the U.S. Senate confirmed conservative Sarah Pitlick to a federal court position. She's going to replace U.S. District Judge Catherine Perry in the Eastern District of Missouri. Chalk that up to another win.
Another win.
As well.
Speaking of chalking places up that get what they deserve,
okay.
I want to talk about San Francisco. Well, folks, we are going to get to impeachment. We are going to get into that whole discussion at the top of the hour.
Oh, yeah.
Top of the hour. But we're kind of working through some. We're working up there.
We're
getting there. We're getting there.
What we're doing is we're working through our personal issues.
Well,
I got issues.
Yeah, I got issues too.
I said we both got issues.
This state has issues. You know who's?
Shit,
did you
yes.
see who San Francisco's new DA is?
No.
So San Francisco's newly elected district attorney, Chesa Boudin, or Chisa Boudoir, or whatever the fuck his name is. This guy.
It's a guy. Are you sure it's a guy?
This guy has come out and said that he will not prosecute quality of life crimes. He's not going to prosecute pissing or shitting in public. He's not going to prosecute shooting up with a hype, loading a syringe in public. He's not going to prosecute that shit. Here's who this guy was. Boudin, Jackoff, was raised by Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn.
Yeah, I wonder, is he linked to the Boudin bread family in San Francisco?
He was raised by Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. We know who our listeners know who those are. Those are Weather Underground people. Bill Ayers never said sorry. Still thinks his actions were acceptable in terms
There's a nice photograph of him
violence.
trampling on the U.S. flag.
Yeah,
thanks, Bill.
He's a dick. Boudin was raised by him. His parents were members of the Weather Underground who went to prison for murder during an armed vehicle holdup where 2 guards and a cop, or 1 guard and 2 cops, were killed. I don't remember the exact killed. So his parents are cop killers and murderers, Weather Underground terrorists. He then gets raised by 2 other Weather Underground pieces of shit. He then goes to law school, becomes an attorney, and goes to work for Hugo Chavez in Venezuela.
Oh, because...
And he spends time...
why not?
He spends time working with Hugo Chavez. And seems like he believes Hugo Chavez is a really great guy.
Oh, yeah,
this jackass,
he is.
The San Francisco Police Union, was so against this jackoff that they spent over $500,000, $600 and something thousand opposing him. When he won,
that's an assload of money for them.
When he won, his campaign and everybody else started chanting "fuck the POA." This guy has said that when he takes office, he wants every case. He wants the prosecuting attorneys to fill out a racial impact sheet before deciding what charges to file. Folks, if you think that this guy is pro-law enforcement, if you think that this guy is pro your civil rights or anything else, you are sadly mistaken. He was raised by terrorists. His parents were terrorists. He worked with Hugo Chavez. He is a fucking communist. Guaranteed. Everything he's doing lends me to believe that. Here's a quote from him. "The criminal justice system isn't just massive and brutal, it's also racist. It's a shocking set of statistics building on centuries of systematic racism, beginning with slavery and moving through Jim Crow, housing policy, and the drug war." Here's my prediction for this guy. I have a couple predictions. First prediction of his tenure in the district attorney's office.
Okay.
Excuse me. The San Francisco Police Department is fucked.
Oh.
What about the other law enforcement agencies that patrol within the city and county of Sacramento, of San Francisco?
And there are a bunch.
It's
not just SFPD.
So what happens when a member of, pick your state law enforcement agency, is conducting a stop? There's a violent confrontation. It's a legitimate shoot. Bad guy goes down. Tragic situation. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. But it does happen. And now it's discovered that the individual who was killed was carrying an airsoft gun. And there was no real threat to the officer.
Well, also because of the new law from Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but that didn't pass in that form. Or the gun was real, but it was unloaded. Or whatever it is. The officer sees the guy's coming at him. The guy's coming at him with a knife.
Let's think of the big picture.
Him, right?
Who's the first agency that you think of that will be in the city and county of San Francisco? CHP.
Yeah. So when one of them...
So if they make a vehicle stop, say, on a freeway, and it exits onto city of San Francisco streets...
Or it stays on the freeway.
Or it stays on the freeway, and you have to have backup in some fashion.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Is the Attorney General of the state of California another fucking leftist?
Oh, Xavier Becerra.
Is he going to defend the officers whose actions were lawful, reasonable, necessary, affected the arrest, lawful under all of the legal precedent? Is he going to defend that officer when this district attorney tries to prosecute that officer for murder? I predict that this jackass is going to run and win Attorney General of California.
That makes perfect sense, because look at the state of succession in California from San Francisco. Kamala Harris, who Willie Brown did doggy style for many, many years, she was unmarried. Willie Brown was married. Yep. That's how she hooked onto the cock of power, I guess you could say.
I think she hooked onto it. I think she hooked onto it with her mouth, hands, and other
portions,
I
right?
So
she became the district attorney of the city and county of San Francisco. One of the things of which I will never. Oh, let me do this because we're not going to.
We're up against a break.
We're up against a break, but because we haven't been around for a long time.
Impeachment when we come back.
This is.
I knew this was going to get you fired up. No. You didn't know who this guy? You didn't hear about this?
Oh no,
I didn't send you this.
I did, but okay. Here's our break.
Conservative media done.
Are we just doing that again?
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Oh, wait. Clint needs to go to the bathroom.
Okay. I've been drinking Pepsi.
No. Okay.
No, we'll take one at 9:30.
No. We'll do one right. No, you got to go. Listen, right. I understand when you got to go to the electric winkle chamber. So we're going to go to this, folks. We'll be right back.
I'm drinking Pepsi. You're over here. We're going to talk through it. I'm like, oh my God, my eyes are floating.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us, fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads CLINT plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real Shat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. It's the Shat Show. It's the Sackheads Against Tyranny, otherwise known as the Shat Show. I am Sackheads BZ. That is Sackheads CLINT over yonder.
Hello, I am Sackheads CLINT. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening to you.
And this is the second hour already. The first hour just went super fast.
Super fast.
Super fast. Like Superfly. It's fly. We are fly. Like a guy?
Yeah, I don't even know what you said.
Like a real guy.
Like Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah. Kaiser. It's,
we have a caller?
Isn't that what a dog says when it barks? Kaiser.
I don't know what a dog says when it barks.
You know what a hair-lipped dog says?
Aren't all dogs hair-lipped?
Well, kind of. A hair-lipped dog says, Mark.
I don't know what that means.
Kaiser, are you there? Kaiser. You're on, dude. Okay. This thing's screwing up again. X-Lite is screwing up. I had it screw up on me earlier this week. It screwed up on me last Thursday. Now, last night, X-Lite worked. The phones worked yesterday, Tuesday. Now they're not working. And I've got you up. Kaiser, are you there? Let me just ask you. Okay, no. All right, so much for the phones. Then
so
what that means is I'm going to have to go to... Oh, God, I hate this. I'll talk to you right now, and let me throw this out to you, Clint. Because obviously the phone system ain't going to work. Sorry, Kaiser, I got to hang up on you, dude. I've been fretting and trying not to do this. But there's something called Free Conference Call HD. It gets good sound quality, and I think it's going to be easier to manipulate because I can run it through Bluetooth. But the problem with this system, a lot of folks use it, is that you call a number. Yeah, Kaiser says I could hear you. Yeah, but I couldn't get you out on the speakers. So X-Lite is screwing up. Anyway, here's what you have to do, Clint. You call a regular number, so we'd be given a number, and then it says, hey, input your access code. So then on top of that, you have to input a 7-digit access code and hit pound. And I've been trying not to do that because it's a pain in the ass to do for the caller. You got to call a number and then enter a PIN, hit pound, and then it puts you in a queue. So it looks like it's got good sound quality, but it is just kind of a pain in the ass.
All right.
Sorry, Kaiser.
A couple things on Boudin before we move on, so I know we kind of got to that say, and I know you have more to say on this too. Some of his policy, I talked about the racial impact statement. First of all, if you have a racial impact statement before you make a decision about charging, so what, white society or white people would be charged more harshly than non-white people.
Isn't that essentially what he's saying?
Yes. And how does that? First of all, how is that constitutional? Second of all, what happened to equal justice under the law with justice being blind? Clearly, that's not the case.
No.
He's also going to prevent deportations by making immigration-safe plea deals. So does that mean that people who are here illegally, criminally, that are facing deportation are going to get better deals offered to them than United States citizens in order to avoid immigration and deportation issues? That seems unconstitutional to me.
Here's one thing that a lot of people don't think of in terms of ICE. If he's going to stop that from occurring, what that means is that ICE then needs to go either to the people's place of employment, if they work, or into their homes, their apartments. That makes things much more dangerous for ICE.
But he doesn't give a shit.
But they're not going to stop doing it. Now, when you didn't want them in their homes or in their places of employment, if they work, now ICE is definitely going to go into your home or your place of employment. Yeah,
but you know what's going to happen? There's going to be violence against the officers.
Oh, yeah.
The ICE officers are going to respond. They're going to hook their asses up, and then this jackass is going to file charges against the ICE agents. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Oh, and it'll go to the AG. And Becerra will support whatever that guy.
I guarantee. Yes. And then the feds are going to have to do whatever the hell they're going to do. I guarantee that shit's coming.
In other words,
this one's going to
come to a head.
Off.
It's going to come to a head.
This one's going to piss you off. He's going to he's going to stop the policies in the district attorney's office that seeks to increase sentences for crimes committed by gang members. So he's going to do away with gang enhancements.
Perfect.
And not penalize somebody with a harsher sentence because their crime was committed in the furtherance of that particular gang. Because gangs in San Francisco don't do heinous things. There's never been a police officer killed by a gang member in San Francisco. Oh, wait, there was. There was. And Kamala Harris refused.
And that was the one that she refused to prosecute.
She did. Yep, and when Jerry Brown was Attorney General, at the Peace Officers Memorial, he stood up there and said, when any local district attorney refused to file a death penalty case against a cop killer, then my office will step in and do it. And he got big cheers, and he never fucking did it. So
yeah, thanks, Jerry.
So this guy, if talk about individual liberty, talk about justice in terms of the whole concept of the American justice system being stood on its head, and with the policies that this guy's saying he's going to implement, blatantly unconstitutional. The law is not going to be applied evenly to citizens and non-citizens, nor is it going to be applied evenly even among the races, it seems, if you're going to do a racial impact statement or based on job or whatever other factors this guy deems appropriate. So, and he's going to get away with it. Nobody in California is going to stop him. Nobody's going to take his office to task. But he should be. He should. This guy, if these policies take place, if he is meting justice out based upon race, based upon all these other things which legally he cannot do, is that not the government? Because he's a member of that government, right?
Certainly.
Is that not the government exercising tyrannical authority?
I could make an excellent argument for that. See, what I've said is that I'm a member of a whole bunch of law enforcement groups on Facebook, as long as Facebook. Oh, I got kicked off Facebook again. That's another reason that I'm not starting the show on Facebook. So fuck Facebook. I'm not starting it anymore. Folks, if you want to watch me, you're going to have to watch us and watch me. You're going to have to watch us on YouTube because I'm not streaming anything to Facebook anymore. Fuck them. Anyway, having said that, Here's an article. In the amount of time that we were just speaking, I found an article from the LA Times, and I know this is true on the East, so it's true here. Here's the headline: George Soros, why George Soros liberal groups are spending big to help decide who's your next DA. In most DA elections, the campaign playbook is clear: win over the local cops and talk tough on crime. In California this year, the strategy is being turned on its head. Wealthy donors are spending millions of dollars to back would-be prosecutors who want to reduce incarcerations, crack down on police misconduct, and revamp a bail system they contend unfairly imprisons poor people before trial. The effort is part of a years-long campaign by liberal groups to reshape the nation's criminal justice system. New York billionaire George Soros headlines a consortium of private funders, the American Civil Liberties Union, and other social justice groups, and Democrat activists and anarchists, targeting 4 of the 56 district attorney positions up for election on June 5th. 5 other California candidates are receiving lesser support. George Soros was already doing this back east. That's how you got that liberal district attorney in Philadelphia. He was massively bankrolled by George Soros.
Yep.
So this isn't just coming to a city near you, maybe, kind of, sort of in the future.
It's here.
It's here. It is here. I'm frankly, I'm a little surprised that it took this long to get to California.
I'm not. This guy, dangerous, folks. It's not just the trend here. Don't think it's San Francisco. Good luck.
No.
Here's
another reason that people are going to be fleeing what I call urban rat cages. There's a reason you don't feed the bears, because you don't want the bears to get fat, lazy, and used to free shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with criminals. Criminals will flock to areas where they can crim with impunity. San Francisco is now one of those places, as is essentially any urban rat cage in America. People are going to be fleeing those areas. They have for quite some time. Those areas are going to be worse. And all the groups that I'm a member of on Facebook, and they say, these are bad times. You can't get so down. Well, no, you're going to have to get down, because as you and I both know, stuff in law enforcement is cyclical. In other words, this will turn around eventually, but you have to hit bottom first. We haven't hit bottom. I'm not sure yet that we can even see it from here. Once we do hit bottom, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, it will trend upwards, and it will be proven to be cyclical. But up until that point, folks, if you think it's bad now in large population areas, just wait. When honest-to-goodness human beings, cops are already having a difficult time, absent those who have served in the military, to vet properly people that are not military in orientation, that don't come from paramilitary-type jobs, where there's discipline and sacrifice required. Discipline and sacrifice are not the buzzwords of Gen Zers and millennials by any stretch of the imagination. So hiring folks for police departments and sheriff's departments all across the nation is already challenged and has been for quite some time. Now you add to that the fact that cops are getting shot at a trending upward rate, as we can see. For the past month now, it has really been trending upwards. And pretty soon you're going to run out of people who are going to say, I'm not much interested in taking crappy pay, working every holiday, working rotating shifts, and getting shot at. I think I'll do something else. I'll create my own app and make millions of dollars, and that cop crap can go to hell, because I'm going to lose all my friends too.
And look, there's a movie coming out. I don't even want to say the name of it because I don't want to give it any kind of play. And we talked a few months ago.
I know which one you're talking about.
We talked a few months ago about how there are few movies that portray United States military in a wholly positive light nowadays. Midway being one,
right,
that I think you should see. But there are no movies or television shows that I can think of that portray cops in a a positive way anymore. We used to be able to name the movies and cop shows where cops were always the good guys. In cop shows today, even the cops you end up rooting for walk this line and do dirty shit sometimes for the greater good. But they still do dirty shit sometimes. And Chicago PD is one show that I can think of off the top of my head. So there is a movie coming out, and I've seen the previews, I've seen the extended previews, and what the premise of the movie seems to be is this poor gentleman and his wife, girlfriend, whatever she is, they're a black couple. They're driving in their car, and they're just a couple, and they get stopped
right?
by a white cop.
Yep, it's out
and
right
this,
now.
And this white cop, and they're not doing anything wrong. And this white cop gets the guy out of the car, and ends up jamming him up, ends up pulling his gun on this guy. And this guy in the movie, this poor innocent black guy, and in the movie he is absolutely a poor innocent black guy that this cop is just completely harassing and getting ready to execute for doing nothing. And this poor innocent guy gets the cop's gun and shoots and kills the cop. And then goes on the run. And he's portrayed as a hero, standing up to this oppressive white cop who was going to murder him in cold blood and was abusing him and his authority. And that's what this movie is about. And I think in one of the scenes there's a black officer that sees them, looks like he has them at gunpoint, and then he kind of like, backs off, backs away, kind of lets them go, like when they're in the garage.
Right, that's not the only one. I'm not going to name the other movie, but there was another movie and some stuff in Netflix that's out right now.
So yes. So that's the movies that are being produced in Hollywood right now. And you think that doesn't shape American perspective on law enforcement and everything else?
How do you change a perspective when we are the least racist? We are at the least racist point in our nation's history.
Yes.
Today.
Yes.
When you have a group of people who believe the exact opposite and aren't willing or interested in the slightest to give a fuck about any of the statistics or facts.
They don't. You know
why?
why?
They're not interested.
They're not, because they have to destroy our system and our way of life before they can erect a new one in the image that they want. And who are the guardians of that? The guardians of that, of our way of life, is American law enforcement.
Backed by the local district attorneys.
Yes. So they already have the schools. Now you got to have law enforcement. And it's
here's the thing: you can't buy.
This isn't new.
No, you can't buy the cops.
You can't buy the cops.
So they're going to do the next best thing, which is
the people
by the district attorneys.
Well, that and the people who are going to be sitting on the juries in judgment of the cases that the cops bring forth or are brought forth against the cops.
Here is a newer story that I just found. This is from the New York Times. Soros, this is this month. Soros adds intrigue and $800,000 to the DA race backing a progressive in Western New York. Two races illustrate vastly different paths and funding sources for Democrat challengers seeking upsets. That includes support from billionaire George Soros.
Mm-hmm.
With much of the election energy focused on next year's presidential election, most of the contests in New York State have stuck firmly to the politics is local playbook kind of thing, hinging on issues like schools and crime. One district attorney race on the banks of Lake Ontario has become an unlikely big money referendum on traditional law and order prosecutors, like the similar battles in the DA's race in Boston, Philadelphia that I told you about, and Queens, New York. These are all progressive DAs that are not interested in filing cases. The race in Monroe County pits a Republican incumbent, Sandra Dorley, against an insurgent challenger, Shani Curry Mitchell, a progressive newcomer who has drawn the attention and backing from the billionaire George Soros, $800,000, by this time close to $1 million, backing her.
Yeah, we're in trouble, folks.
We're in big
we're in trouble.
damn
Fortunately, This ties back to what we were talking about earlier, where Trump has 50 justices confirmed to the various courts at the appellate level and above here in the United States. Now, impeachment. We have 34 minutes.
It's a civil war that's going on right now.
Yes, and
shots are not being fired
yet.
But it's a war.
Look, we haven't been this divided. We've said this before. We have not been this divided in our country ideologically.
Ever.
We are literally going 1774 and 1868, 67. And what happened around those times? Wow. Because, look, it used to be where we were all going in the same direction. Maybe we had a different way to get there, but we had the same end state. 1770, 72, 73, 74, 76, we weren't. We were going two polar opposite directions. Independence remained part of the British colonies. In the 1860s, we are going two separate directions. Either states have the right to choose their destiny in terms of slavery being one of the primary issue, not necessarily the only issue. States' rights, do states have the rights, or is the federal the supreme when we're talking about slavery? There is no in-between there.
No, and there cannot be.
There's none, and there cannot be. So, what did we get? We got a civil war. Right now, we're in a time where we are either moving towards socialism, which is total government, socialism, communism, and on the total government scale, you can say fascism is one end of that, with communism on the other end of that, but both of those are two opposite sides of the same coin, total government control. And then you have the other side of the coin, which is less government control, more individual liberty, constitutional republic. And you can't have both. Those two ideologies do not meet in the middle. Those two ideologies despise each other. And even
if you want to keep your country,
yes,
they cannot.
And even on the far left, I submit that the fascists are not alt-right. I believe that they are far left because they're big government control.
Yes.
It's just the other side of the same far left coin. And those two hate each other. So we are in very dangerous times right here, and I think we can still keep our republic. But we are at a time where the United States of America, as we know it, could be lost. The Donald Trump being the president of the United States and what he has done for our country and where he has taken us is huge. And the Democrats hate it so much. The progressives, I shouldn't say the Democrats, I should say
I just call them leftists.
The leftists in this country, the progressives, the socialists in this country need to bring him down, and that's why this impeachment is such a big deal. 19 minutes after he's elected, this jackass attorney for the whistleblower is tweeting out that to start the impeachment proceedings or something of that nature. This has been in the works for a long time, and you have people now saying that, well, if Trump wins re-election now, we'll just impeach him again. That's their go-to. They have no other alternative. They have to destroy him because 50 judges, folks, if you think Donald J. Trump, Orange Man bad, is not making a tremendous impact in terms of reversing some of the damage that's been done with these progressive presidents over the last several years, really since Reagan, you're sadly mistaken. There is a reason Trump is hated.
There is a price to pay for all of this. Well, first let me do this. I'm going to mention the price to pay because it's our show and we can do this. Here's the break.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And here's Al Green talking the truth.
Actually help the president's re-election?
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get re-elected.
That's all you need to know from the left.
There you go.
That's the reason for all of this bullshit from the microsecond that he was inaugurated.
Yep.
But the consequences are this, and that's why you if you like just a modicum of freedom. Audrey says she's got to go. Thanks for being here, Audrey.
Thank you for being here, Audrey.
You are welcome back anytime. Come to my show Tuesday and Thursday nights and Sackheads against Tyranny. Anytime. Thanks for being here, Audrey. But can you imagine what we wouldn't know if Hillary Clinton were president? We wouldn't know a fraction of the things that we know now.
We wouldn't.
And further, if, I don't know, fill in the blank, wins as president in 2020, I don't know, let's just say
Biden,
Warren, all these other people who influenced Biden, who was a moderate, who was kind of this Zell Miller guy, and you will never have another Zell Miller again, or another JFK again on the Democrat side. That just ain't going to happen. Biden went hard left because he had to. And you don't think the leftists aren't going to influence him if he's installed as president?
The left is attacking Obama's legacy already.
Exactly. That deserves...
Thank you. Obama is no longer sacred.
He's
in the left.
Obama is now insufficiently left for the left.
Yes.
And he's cautioning, back it off.
He is.
Back it off.
Yeah. And he's radical. And he's not radical enough for these people that are trying to take power now. Impeachment. Look, I believe the House is going to impeach. Now, there was tonight, Virginia Democrat, what's her name? Abigail Spanberger. She's out of Virginia. She had a town hall, and she won a district that I believe is traditionally, they tend to lean right. And she had at this town hall, there's video if you can find it. During this town hall, she's trying to say that what President Trump is going to be impeached for is serious violations, and the crowd is pissed. They're saying, no, it's bullshit. He hasn't done anything wrong. You guys, they are pushing back. And another interesting part of this whole story is,
let me see if I can find that. I may have already.
Yeah, if you can find it. So the House Majority Whip. What's the House Majority Whip's name? Clyburn. So he said in an interview that he believes some Democrats are not going to vote for impeachment. And he said something, and there was a quote in a Fox News article.
See, I heard about here's censure. They're thinking about that as an alternative.
And here's something interesting that he said, a quote, according to a Fox News article today on what Clyburn said. He says, quote, "This is a vote of conscience. I do believe that when it comes to something as divisive as impeachment, we have to leave members up to their own consciences, their own constituents, and what they think is in the best interest of their love for country." And so I think it would be a bit unseemly for us to go out whipping up a vote on something like this. This is too serious. This is too much about preserving this great republic. So a couple things struck me here. Number one, he's admitting that there are going to be some Democrats that don't vote for this. I don't know if they have enough for impeachment or not. I don't believe him when he says he's not going to be whipping up votes for this. I think he's full of shit, because I think the Democrats know they really don't have any other play at this point with all the numbers the way they're trending right now. But when he says that this is a vote of conscience, I do believe that when it comes to something, listen to this, when it comes to something as divisive as impeachment, when it comes to that, that's when we have to leave members up to their own consciences, their own constituents, and what they think is in the best interest for the country. So what the fuck do they do every other time? Does that mean that they're forcing their members to vote against their conscience? They're forcing their own members to vote against their constituents?
You got the answer to that.
They're forcing their own members to vote what they think, even though they know something is not in the best interest of this country?
You got the answer to that.
Of course I got the answer to that. But this fucker is admitting it during an interview on a Fox News story.
Okay, I got that thing up.
How does that, I do, but in a minute, how does that quote not just get people saying, wait a second, time out? Why would you be whipping up a vote on anything? Those members are there to serve us, not you or your party.
Because people are ignorant.
But it's right here.
I know. Yes, it is.
It's right here.
Every once in a while, the Democrats will tell you what they're really thinking.
Yes.
And then people fail to fucking believe it.
Yes.
They're like Islam. Islam tells you it wants to kill you, but no one believes it.
Right.
Every once in a while, the Democrats tell the truth.
And this is one of those times. And how is nobody reading this article saying, wait a second, they usually don't let their members vote their conscience?
No, you gotta. The
caucus?
Fuck? The caucus is all, especially under Pelosi.
Yeah, I know the answer to it. I read that and I was like,
oh yeah, 210 over 190.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
easy. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's right there. I think they're going to vote to impeach. So really, the next big thing is, okay, well, here's the thing. The Democrats are stupid if they vote to impeach. And I do want to hear what you have to say, but I want to make this point because I do think this is an important discussion to have.
Right.
The Democrats, if they vote to impeach, I think they're screwed. Because I think that the only thing to do in that case is to have a long, drawn-out trial in the Senate. And bring every single one of these fuckers.
Or they just give it a summary dismissal.
Nope. Hell no. If you draw it out, that keeps all of the senators who are running for president on the Democratic side off the campaign trail. They can't campaign while they're in impeachment proceedings against the president.
Okay.
What else does it do? I can call witnesses. Hunter Biden, you're being called in to testify.
Adam Schiff.
You're being called in to testify.
Sondland,
Joe Biden.
James Comey,
called in.
You can come in.
Everybody can come in to testify. And as long as this parades out, what's that going to do? All of the Democratic senators, they can't campaign. Biden is going to be just getting fucking hosed because he's going to be made out to look like the freaking asshat he is.
That he is the one that asked and demanded the quid pro quo.
Yes.
On video.
So all that shit's going to come out. And meanwhile, Trump is going to be campaigning and smiling and campaigning, and it's going to be him and Bloomberg, and that's it. That's my prediction. Okay, so I know I got passionate there. So what do you got?
That's why folks listen to the show, because we get passionate about this stuff. Now you said, okay, here's the gal that you were talking about, Representative Abigail Spanberger. She's in a little, let's see, she represents Virginia's 7th Congressional District and includes areas between Richmond and Fredericksburg. And she took that seat in 2018 from a Republican named Dave Bratt, a former economics professor. So she's having her own little town hall, and I'm guessing expects that everything is going to go her way.
Where I fall related to the inquiry, the allegations against the president are incredibly serious.
The allegations? Incredible bullshit. It's crap. It's crap. It's a lie. It's all lies.
Okay, so no one has dispelled or attempted to dispel or provide evidence that would exonerate the president.
He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't done nothing. Did you really say that? He hasn't done nothing. We get some time to speak to. You have about as silly as a stain on the blue dress. Y'all have been trying to impeach this man since he got elected. You want to talk about election off to Hillary?
I think this conversation would like to continue, but we'll move to the next one.
Yeah, I don't like this conversation. Yeah. We'll move to the next one.
So she said there's been no evidence proving, basically exonerating him. Hey, bitch. He doesn't have to prove his innocence.
You have to
prove him
that's
guilty.
The other side of the coin is all the leftists and Democrats and the American media maggots are saying that we have Napoleonic law here in the United States. Yes. You are instantly presumed guilty. Now you have to dig yourself out of the Democrat hole that they've placed you into.
Yes.
The onus on proving yourself innocent is on you.
Yes. Yeah. And she said that. And I wish somebody in that room would have said, hold on.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to prove he's innocent.
Yeah. Can you say something similar to, you can go to hell?
Yeah. It's up to you to prove him guilty.
I've got some great audio cuts. I gotta play this.
I was struck this morning by the same thing as all my friends and colleagues on this side of the room. Chairman Nadler actually began this morning with the outrageous statement that the facts before
This is Representative Mike Johnson.
us are undisputed. Of course, everyone here knows that that's simply not true. Every person here, every person
That's what she
watching at
just
home
said.
knows full well that virtually everything here is disputed, from the fraudulent process and the broken procedure to the Democrats' unfounded claims. And the full facts are obviously not before us today. We've been allowed no fact witnesses here at all. For the first time ever, this committee, which is the one in Congress that has the actual jurisdiction over impeachment, is being given no access to the underlying evidence that Adam Schiff and his political accomplices claim supports this whole charade.
Boom.
This is just a shocking denial of due process. And I want to say to our witnesses, I'm also a constitutional law attorney, and under normal circumstances, I really would greatly enjoy an academic discussion with you, a debate about the contours of Article 2, Section 4. But that would be an utter waste of our time today, because as has been highlighted so many times this morning, this whole production is a sham and a reckless path to a predetermined political outcome. And I want you to know it's an outcome that was predetermined by our Democrat colleagues a long time ago. The truth is, House Democrats have been working to impeach President Donald J. Trump since the day he took his oath of office.
Period.
Yeah.
End of statement. Truism. But they've set a precedent, Clint. And the precedent is goose gander. Foot, other foot. Shoe, other shoe. Now you can impeach a president for policy differences. And I submit from now on until we gain any semblance of sanity, this shit is going to continue. Let me ask you this. I fully believe that because of this and a lot of other things that are going to occur between now and November, Trump will win. And this time I believe
think so.
he will win the Electoral College. And I truly believe that he will get the popular vote. We have the best economy that we've had in 50 years, 5 decades.
And his support among minorities is growing.
Among blacks?
Huge.
They are walking away. I've had Brandon Strzok right here on the show to talk about that.
They are.
But
and
now,
when you have the head of the founder of BET talking about you, there are people in that community, there are big name people that are 100% supporting President Trump.
Yeah, and walking away.
Yeah.
But now there is going to be another Democrat president. It's going to occur. Trump is going to take it until 2024. 2024, who knows who's going to? It's not going to be Trump. Who the hell knows who it's going to be on the
Nikki
Republican
Haley.
side?
Nikki Haley.
Whatever. But the next Democrat president is going to find he or she in this same situation where your head is up for the guillotine if you have a policy difference from now until we straighten this shit out.
And I won't support that either.
Oh, I will. Oh, hell yeah.
No, I absolutely not.
Let's turn this crap upside down.
I disagree. I think if the Republicans...
Let's lock up all the people
Bullshit.
in D.C. so they can't pass any bills anymore.
If the Republicans impeach the next Democratic president just because of a policy difference, then they are no better than what the Democrats are doing now, and they would then be
wrong.
abusing.
I expect them to fight. I expect them to have a fucking spine.
Fighting is different.
And if
than,
D.C. gets
fighting
taken
is
down
different
because
than
of that,
violating,
oh well.
Fighting is different than violating their oath of office, than violating the Constitution of the United States.
But that's okay for the Democrats.
No, it's not okay.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
Who's getting prosecuted under any of this stuff?
Nobody.
Have we seen anybody?
Yet.
Hillary?
Does that make it right?
Have faith?
Does that make it right?
Does it make it right for the Democrats?
No, it's not right.
Of course it doesn't
so
make it right for the Democrats.
If it's not right for the Democrats, then why would it be okay for the Republicans?
Because I'm about to die, and fuck them. I don't have time anymore. My time is just about up. I want to see DC
my kids isn't
and turned
around. The country's isn't.
And only until
it's not going
this
to be.
Shit crashes will anything get done. The history of humanity is it doesn't understand the bullshit that it faces until the worst shit happens. We didn't learn anything from 1993 in the World Trade Center. It took both World Trade Centers to come down before we gave one ragged fuck about securing America. You're going to have to bring D.C. down, and we're going to have to impale a massive amount of people before they will understand the critical importance of paying attention to what happens in your state capitals and mostly in D.C.
If the Republicans do that, then our country is fucking done.
It's done now?
It's not done now.
Oh, hell yeah.
It absolutely is not. We still have Trump in power. We still have a good economy. We still have 50 justices that he put in place. I let you finish.
For 4 years.
I let you finish.
For 4 years.
I let you finish. We have 50 judges that he put into place on the appellate benches and justices on the Supreme Court, which are exceed the fucking state authority. And if the Republicans act in the same way the Democrats have, then there is nobody left who can stand up and do the right thing, and our Constitution means jack shit. In which case, the judiciary means jack shit. In which case, our country is fucking done. So if the Republicans start acting that way, I'll be the first one to stand up and call bullshit, and I'll be the fucking first one to fight against them. And they will lose the support of true patriots that believe in the Constitution and want this country back on track to do the right way. Now, if states secede from the Union and they fight D.C. and that's how D.C. falls, that's a different matter altogether. And I don't believe that the Civil War established that states can't retract themselves from a contract and secede, because I believe they can. So if a state,
it's a 10th issue.
If a state does that, I will support that. I would say, you know what? I understand you're a conservative state. You're pulling out because of this Democrat president, and that's how you're going to exercise your power. That I'm okay with. I'm not okay if you're in Congress, you're in this union, and you are knowingly going to violate the Constitution of the United States, because that's a tactic of the left.
How do we get away with Hillary then? How do we get away with the Clintons? How do we get away with the Epsteins? How do we get away with Benghazi? How do we get away with everybody in D.C.? You have to be such a massive suck anymore to have been on the take for so many years from local politics until you've climbed over all the dead, broken, burnt bodies of your lessers until you get to D.C. Can you count on your fingers how many truly unscathed individuals there are in D.C.? I'm not sure there are any. Now, I can't. Here's a cut from Lindsey Graham. Mm-hmm. He makes a good statement. He's talking about the IG report, and he's saying, and I believe this is true. I'm sure you're going to believe it's true, that this should bother us. What happened?
And we're going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to try to find a way to make sure this never happens again. And here's what I hope people in your business will do. Read the entire report, not focus on the debate as to whether or not there was a legal predicate. I'm here to tell you that doesn't drive my thinking. I will assume, for the sake of argument, there was a legal foundation. But what I will not tolerate is how it got off the rails, and how the FBI and the Department of Justice, to continue this investigation, continually lied to the court, misled the court, manufactured evidence to hurt an American citizen, and to continue an operation against the President of the United States. That should bother all of us. What is this akin to? I've been a prosecutor, I've been a defense attorney, I've been a judge. To me, this would be like getting a lab report saying that the person you're investigating, the fingerprints don't match, the DNA doesn't match, but instead of telling the court that, you say that it does. It was that obvious. The subsource, the person who prepared all the information for the dossier, told the FBI in January 2017, this is a bunch of garbage. Not only did they not stop using the garbage, they lied to the court about what the man said.
Well, yeah. Is there any portion of that you disagree with?
No, and I think that the U.S. attorney,
Jim Jordan cut coming up too.
I want to hear it. The U.S. attorney who's investigating the criminal investigation into this came out unprecedented. Came out and said, no, we disagree with. Did you see that? We disagree with the IG's report in that there was factual basis to start with this investigation. And so it was like the IG report was released. He comes out and says, nope, we disagree with that. There, in fact, was, and we're conducting a criminal investigation, and that's pretty much all we're going to say on that.
So are you saying Are you saying there's hope?
Yes. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm saying there's hope.
Okay. I will get to Jim Jordan. I got it all queued up right here. What if? Now, we haven't seen anybody prosecuted. We've got, I call him Jimmy the Leak Comey because we've got him leaking. The IG held him blameless before in the prior IG report. Oh, okay, I am completely cognizant of the fact that the IG cannot do anything. The IG cannot say, okay, I'm going to prosecute. That's up to the AG. I get it. I get that. What if Barr, basically the only hope that we have left at the conclusion of however many weeks or months, or Durham, both of them, and we discover at the conclusion of however long it takes for whatever investigation that they're doing, and I believe they are conducting a number of investigations right now that we're just not hearing about. Mm-hmm. What happens if they come out and say, well, we don't find anything?
Do you believe them?
That's the first question you have to ask. Do you believe Horowitz? And number two, if they find I should be specific, Durham, Barr, if they find nothing and no one to prosecute under this most ideal set of circumstances, where do we go there? Where do we go from here? What happens? I think you've said this. You've pointed this out. Where do people around the world go for freedom and liberty and justice if we can't fucking find it here in the United States? So what justice will we have if this is the best possible IG we're going to get in quite some time in William Barr, and Durham? I don't see him. I don't grok the concept that he brooks much bullshit. Mm-hmm. But if Durham finds nothing, you know what? And Barr says, oh, not really. Where are we?
Well,
tear this place apart.
It's one of two things, right? Because we don't see the evidence, we don't see the report. So is it possible that it's something that they can't prosecute and win? Because you know as well as I do that prosecutors look at something and they'll make a determination, right? Number one, is there a crime? Number two,
Roger Stone.
Number two, if there is a crime, can I win it?
Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, we're fucked because of crimes of process. Only because of the Mueller report that Jimmy the Leak Comey said he leaked this shit in order to get a special prosecutor to go after the president. Mm-hmm. Because James Comey is a 6'8" piece of shit. Piece of leaking, lying, obfuscating shit. Mm-hmm. Trump made a massive error not getting rid of that guy on January 20th of 2017. That's the first thing he should have done.
He did, and I think he realizes that. So,
but if these two guys who were hanging a big hat on, if these two guys don't find anything, where are we? Now what?
Well, it depends.
It's only going to get worse.
Do you think so let me ask you this. Is it possible that they truly did nothing criminal?
In my mind?
Is it possible? Not in your mind. Is it in reality possible that nothing criminal occurred?
No.
Okay.
And here's why.
Okay.
I'm a student of law. When James Comey read a USC code to me and told me knowing full well that there are crimes of general intent and crimes of specific intent, and the crimes that he had delineated were crimes of general intent, because a crime of specific intent, says something like, with the intent to, then I know he's a lying cocksucker. Mm-hmm. And when you lie to me, what else? That's like, well, when did you last stop beating your wife? Well, you either lied to me now or you lied to me then. All these fuckers are lying to me now or then. I don't believe in anybody's probity anymore. They have absolutely disabused me of believing in the veracity of all these cockbites.
Okay. So in your mind, it's not possible that there was no crime.
No.
Because you think Comey's a lying piece of shit. I agree with you that Comey's a lying piece of shit.
See, it should all come back to the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which is if that FISA warrant, and they were looking for Trump before they even started with Carter Page.
Yes, they were.
That's been proven because of this IG report. That was proven.
Yes.
So the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine says that if your essential warrant is predicated on bullshit, as this one is,
everything else
along the line that you seek in terms of prosecutions, Flynn should go, Manafort should go, Papadopoulos went. Everybody else should be free as the air now, because in the FISA, and can you imagine being a FISA judge? That these fuckers got into my court and lied to my face, and then came back, because every 90 days it's got to be renewed, and then came back into my court, may not have been the same judge, might not have been the same court, it'll be in FISA court, and lied to my face again. So these fucks didn't lie just once to get the initial warrant.
Yep.
They predicated and they promulgated the continuous rolling lie that got all these people prosecuted.
And what crime is that known as? What do you have to do when you swear out an affidavit or a warrant? It's perjury. It's perjury.
But it also gets back to the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine.
It does. But
which I submit is the major reason that all the forces are arrayed in support of what the FBI did, because to have that come out and to have all of their cases fall apart, they can't stand that. That cannot stand. That cannot hold. But in the meantime, you have denigrated our federal courts and our system to the point where now I'm working against you, saying I can't trust my federal government, and I worked for the fucking FBI.
So let me ask this question. I know we have 3 minutes left. I believe indictments are going to drop. I agree with the chat room. I do.
Do you really think there are going to be some indictments?
I really believe there are going to be some indictments
before November 2020.
Yeah, I believe so.
You think so?
I do. I think they have to. I think they have to. And I agree with you. If there are no indictments out of this, just based on what we're seeing out here, I want to hear what they have to say as to why there's no indictments. But I'm going to be, I'm probably going to think they're full of shit. But I think there are going to be indictments. I will say this: Trump on the campaign trail 2016 was talking about how Hillary should go to jail, and nothing has been done with her. That was one of his campaign promises.
She may come out at the final hour.
So let me ask you this question. Now, you made a comment earlier where you said you believe that there are several investigations going, and we may not know about all of them. Is there an investigation into Hillary Clinton based upon Trump's campaign promise and based upon what we know about Durham and Attorney General Barr?
I know for a fact there was one federally in Arkansas looking into the Clinton Foundation, because you and I both know that was nothing but an excuse.
Yep.
That was
to raise money.
Quid
pro quo.
That
Pay
was
to play.
The ultimate quid pro quo. Pay to play.
Yep.
And that's gone nowhere. So where's my confidence?
Is there another one going?
I don't know.
What's your gut
unless I don't know, Durham and Barr are picking it up. Maybe.
We'll know if one of them shows up.
What are the key findings of the IG report? Papadopoulos, Carter Page, probably Trump, were spied on before and after joining and leaving the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because that predates the FISA warrant.
Mm-hmm.
We know that U.S. allies were leveraged to work against President Trump now. And we know that...
Which I would say is treason.
Oh, we know that the FBI... This is the part where I take some of the most umbrage. And this is why I say burn D.C. down. Screw it. The FBI embedded spies within the campaign of a presidential nominee, a president-elect, and we know for a fact he's got spies in the Oval Office, in the White House, right now. So with that having been said, the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine is not applying. The FBI embedded spies. The FBI, here's what the FBI could have done. We
got to wrap up.
Okay. About another minute or so. I'm going to make just one point, and then we can go away.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI knew that Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy in her office who was her driver and one of her personal aides for years, and took Dianne Feinstein aside and said, look, Dianne, you got a spy in the office. We're going to help you out, and we're going to go find him and root him out. Okay. Donald Trump, the FBI said, we believe that your campaign is compromised. We believe there may be Russian assets working against you and working against the United States. Come on over here, Donald. Let's show you what this is all about. Because the FBI is sure that Donald Trump would have said no cooperation whatsoever. The only difference between the two is political affiliation. Burn it down.
I disagree with burn it down. And we've already gone over why I think that is. Because we're still a constitutional republic. But goddamn, what a show to come back to, huh?
I'd say. Maybe we should do something similar to...
so zen.
It is. It's Namaste time.
So zen. With that hat on and that green robe, you kind of look like the ghost of Christmas.
What?
Which one? Is it Ghost of Christmas Present?
I don't remember what.
Remember from the original? He's the big guy with the big beard and the green green robe on. I think it was the Ghost of Christmas Present in the original Scrooge, or not Scrooged, but.
Oh darn!
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to find a picture of him now.
We'll have to come back. I got an idea. Let's do it next Wednesday.
Let's do it next Wednesday.
You want to? That'll be the 18th, I think.
It will. And
Wednesday,
then we'll be off for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So.
And then we'll be back again to hit hard for the new year.
Yeah.
Show me your war face. Give me your war face.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.